You're just being petty. Move on. Someone yesterday accused me of that. It has to do with this sheepdog thing. So that's a modern term that's been bandied around. I've heard it probably for the last 5 years at least, maybe just a little bit longer than that, with the idea of sheepdog security and Christians learning to be sheepdogs and protecting their families and all that kind of stuff, being dangerous, be the most dangerous man in the room, that kind of a stuff. And that's like a Christian quality, being the most dangerous man in the room. Now, I believe in manliness and I believe in being manly and believe there are some high qualities in being manly and not a wimp. And I certainly don't believe that I'm a wimp. In fact, I don't believe I was being a wimp yesterday when I saw a guy talk about being, mistaking how pastors sometimes mistake sheepdogs for being wolves, and they ought to learn how to understand when you've got a man who's the most dangerous man in the room and a man who knows how to stand up, that he may not be a wolf, he might just be a sheepdog trying to protect his sheep and telling these sheepdogs to be unleashed and get up and let God work through you, and dismissing the role of the pastor. So he says, and we have conversation, because all I'm asking him to do is, examine this term. Is it scriptural? I can't find, and I may be wrong, I can't find any place in the Bible where the Bible speaks positively about dogs. There's one place in the scripture, the book of Job, where it talks about a sheepdog, I think, but it doesn't use it in a positive light. It uses it negatively. And so here we have some guys, and I think their motives are sincere. They're talking about men rising up and being manly, and I agree. We need some churches that have some manly men, and too often churches have become relegated to the women because, because church seems effeminate, and we've got men who are pastoring who aren't manly, and now anymore we've got churches that are having ordained women as their pastors and things like that, and churches becoming effeminate. And I see the problem, and I see what he's talking about. But to use a term that is not in the Bible, and if it's in the Bible at all, it's used in a negative context to try to stir up something manly, seems like an incredibly dangerous thing. This guy says, stop being petty, move on. He refused to call me Marvin. I always think it's interesting how people, because I'm challenging his position, I'm not Marvin, I'm Marv. My mom calls me Marv. No one else gets to do that. Marv. Move on, Marv. You're being petty. So am I not just being manly? I'm asking him to challenging his position to see if it's biblical. And he doesn't want to be challenged biblically. Well, you're making too much of what I'm saying. No, that's the problem. Too often, we make too little of doctrinal principles, and we thereby create what could become, it later on, great damage to the cause of Christ.